back. All right. It's made of brass and sounds like Tom Jones. I don't know what. Bilbo Baggins woke up suddenly to Don't Stop Believing. It was an unexpected journey. Yeah, dude, I think that the your presence was just too much. Satellite couldn't take it. But I love how the pipeline's set up. Then I probably should have used Tmux because I think it was actually it would have recovered if I had used Tmux. It was too long of a draw for SSH. If it's too long for SSH, it probably would have died for the other TCP bits. You could probably set. Do I have a second computer? Tommy Luco, yes. But what's going on here? Here, let's explain it. So in case you missed it, oh, you know what? While we're on screen, we got this on the phone screen. Let's see. I'll show you. With this giant drop here, right there. It's for multiple, maybe a minute and a half or so. Right? They tried to recover during that time, couldn't recover. And you can see here that it's actually buffering a little bit. And what we ended up doing was we set up a process on this machine right here that takes packets from OBS. It sends it over the network to this process, which then buffers it for some delay. And then, to make sure I'm not leaking secrets, then it feeds it to FFmpeg, which then gives it to Twitch. Yeah, Starlink downtime. It's not the hardware here. We've got that figured out. But you can see when we get some drops here. The buffer on the inside. This is actually like a $5 a month Linode server, and it's barely being used, which is amazing. This is just passing data through. We didn't even optimize it. Just made it work. So this little sponge on my side of the network, on this side of Starlink, this little buffer, this little sponge will absorb packets. It's made of brass and sounds like Tom Jones. Trombone. So, yeah, just couldn't survive that giant gap there. That was pretty bad. But other than that, it's been pretty good. Been pretty good. Werewolves are notoriously hard to find. Otherwise, they'd be called their wolves. We'll let the kids decide. Someone asked why I wear 2 watches. I guess it's because I have too much time on my hands. Ouch. Ouch. Alright, well, that's going. I am surprised though. So I'm going to pull up the Twitch inspector for a moment. And out of curiosity, did everything just pick up from where it left off? Or did it say it actually went offline? Yeah, it looks like it went offline. Sorry, just observing the software that we wrote yesterday, seeing if we need further changes. One change that I'm actually thinking of, kind of shelving this for a moment, is on my side. If the buffer gets too big, like way too big, I'm planning on dropping packets. Because we know exactly how big the packets are. We can just omit them from the stream to catch up. Or we could do like every other video packet or something like that. Until it's caught up. Because what ends up happening when the network goes down for just a moment is that we buffer all these packets. Right, all of them. But if you get like 30 seconds into a buffer, into an outage, you then have to upload all 30 seconds worth. And that might not work out all that well. Because at some point, you're not going to be able to upload fast enough to recover on the Twitch side. So it might be better just to have some sort of gap. I'll have to think about it. But that's definitely an option, dropping packets that have been held onto for too long. As we watch the delay climb. Yeah, what would that be? We could just have like a max packet age. We could even look at the packet type. Is it video? Is it audio? These are exactly why we have this. It's just smoothing out these little bumps. So, what do you think that would do to it though? Dropping some of these packets. It should be okay feeding that to FFmpeg, right? And we could do it just to the big things, big ticket items. I wonder what would happen in Twitch. Let's say if I just dropped the video packets that were more than 15 seconds old or whatever. Then all the audio packets would come in. There'd probably be some sort of frame, like video glitch, but might be able to still hear the audio. Have it recover faster. Recovering faster would be nice. Yeah, it's going up and down. It's having a field day. It's this side that I should have used T-Mux on. Come on, come on. do it. Alright. Enough noodling about that for a moment. Yeah, see it got down to 1,500 packets, 1495. And it recovered. It is what it is. We might be able to pass the solver around. I kind of like the idea of just passing the constraints up, and just bubbling them up. Then you also have to be able to remove them, which will be fine. And then you have to notify if they change. So you have to know who belongs to what variable. That's the problem with passing the values up, is we don't know who the constraint belonged to. I guess we'd have to register who, what values, and the constraints. These two always need to be paired up. Oh no, just wanted to check if you could download a new version of your client. But the worldwide download server network is down due to maintenance. That's right, who needs websites? Alright. Now this add constraint, I want to see what the type is for that. It's just a constraint, okay. Create a new one. Create expression. Operator. Oh, interesting. I see. Alright, solver is added to the scene, VBox is added to the scene. And variables with its parent. Okay, that gets passed up. Solver welcomes VBox. And it and variables. The map. Let's see, it needs some sort of map or something so that it knows which object to notify if a constraint changes. should at that point solver tell VBox what it's like? Should it solve and notify it? It doesn't have any constraints though. I guess this solver itself needs to have some sort of width and height. Which is fine. It's got to be somewhere in 3D space, so maybe that's a property on it, width and height, but it's constrained. Isn't. But to do that, it needs to know the relationship of these other values, these variables. So it needs to know the width and height of these. Well, it needs to know which variables represent width and height. So we need some sort of struct of variables that can represent that. And these variables and we can copy and clone them, which is good. How do we pass these around in Godot? We were kind of doing that. Or was it size number of this? Problem with size number is that you have to wrap it in an instance to send it around. Wrap it and then unwrap it. It's a variant, it got sent to this Flexbox sizing. So we can do the same thing. Have a resource for like a width and height constraint, width and height variables. Oh no, dude, keyboard's acting up. You blew it out really well with an air compressor. Oh goodness. Yeah, we could do this. Then pass those values around. Okay. Oh, let's try it. I think I kind of see it. The hard part is actually just, getting it to work with Godot. Because, well, the types get hidden. You have to work through that. Rust. Sora's UI. What should we call that? No, what do they call it in OS 10? We'll just call it layout. Let's either that, or we just have some way to kind of, like, you have to go through Godot to find out which instance of layout you're using. That'd make the Rust code a lot easier. Alright. So, we're going to have... Yeah, I think we're gonna do some gross stuff here. Use GD. And this here, we're going to inherit spatial, because we're going to have our layout object. Struct layout. Add layout to that. Add tool class. Alright, now in the UI mod, let's add layout. Mod, layout. Coming back to layout. Now it should all be wired up. Methods. Layout. Alright, so we have one of those. Layout is going to hold one of these. Maybe. Layout might just point to one that's somewhere else. Alright. We could use like a one cell here. What I'm thinking here is that we could have multiple of these caraway instances, right? When layout starts up, it gets a hold of a new one. And then has some sort of ID that it can pass out to the other elements. And then those things can add and remove themselves, their variables, etc. to and from this thing, their constraints. They just need to know which one it is, so they have to ask their parent, what's my layout? Or their parent's parent, because who knows, maybe we have something else inside of the scene tree. Some nondescript sort of spatial that's just sitting in the middle somewhere. Right. So Blart might not actually know about layouts, might just be used for like rotation or animating things. But this needs to know about layouts, so it goes past Blart and then to that to get it. What's my layout? And that could just be part of the registration handoff. But your parent is still going to need to know a couple of your variables, specifically the width and height. Now look, we had a little buffering there. I don't want to get too far ahead down the wrong road, though. You still have to register with your parent because... Let's go back to Flexbox. If we were just passing these things around, does that actually help with anything? We still have to tell our parent. Our parent has to add constraints for us, given our width and our height, our X, Y, etc. Sorry, my wife was asking if I had something on my desk. I don't. Trying to see if I have something else, though. Oh. Just a minute. She needed fire. Your keyboard in my stream. Yeah, it's holding steady at the moment. We're getting some drops every now and then, but the buffering seems to iron it out. It looks like 30 seconds might be just fine. I might just need another way to reconnect. Like if something does go wrong and it has to start streaming again, I'd prefer not to have to restart these things. Just have to figure out how to make that connection in the middle a little bit more robust. Start the processes on the server so that they don't go away when SSH disconnects. And then, what else? At that point, just TCP reconnect. That's it. All right. Yeah, it's, you know, which do you choose? Viewers crashing and dying off, or the delay? I think the delay is better. All right. I think we're going to mimic some of these other APIs. So we're going to need to add constraints, remove constraints. If I look at solver, I also like how straightforward this is, right? It's just you provide the constraint. Solver handles it, tells you what the values are. I think I'm just concerned about how many times I have to go through Godot just to add a constraint and stuff like that. Yeah, and yeah, play with the duration a bit. And this year, I was actually gonna do 60 seconds. Dude, said go 30. Well, actually, dude, I was like 60 is a long time. I'm like, okay, we'll do 30. I know it's more or less that. And so far, the stream has just been holding steady, even though we've been getting these drops all the time. This happens more than I thought it did. Much more than I thought it did. So, like 17 packets. It couldn't send for whatever reason. Just for itty bitty amount of time. So. But it recovers. And then it's smooth. All right. Yeah. And later, I'm gonna play Loop Hero. Not today. Kids might have time for it today, though. I won't. I got a bunch of work stuff to do after this. Mark. Yes. It should be 30, I'm guessing 32 seconds. Probably at 32. Yeah, okay. And I'm gonna do it this way where we have some sort of hash map, like a static hash map, right? And this thing's going to have some sort of ID, like a solver, in case we have multiple solvers in the scene. Morning 715209. How are you? Right, so we would have something like that. This would register a new solver, etc., whenever it got created. And then it would be able to tell things that are adding to it which solver it is, so that they can get a hold of it, add and remove constraints, etc. Mark. Let's see, if I pause, I play, that'll get me to current. Oh, Xenogon, thank you for that sub. Yeah, thank you for renewing that. Let's see. Video stats. 35 to 36. Okay, let's check it. Nice. It's not too bad. If we'd gone 60, that would have maybe saved us from the epic outage earlier. Yeah. I get you confused with the other 715209.